Well, it's just the weekend, as you know, gets a little bit more chaotic, but however, we decided to make things very fun and exciting for you guys when we do reviews on pro wrestling. Our very first review is coming from ChocoPro with 327, I believe, no, 326, my bad. We only feature at least three matches involved, but the main event features a very interesting tag team match. We have Mei Suruga teaming up with Chi. They take on very interesting dynamic between Mochi Natsumi and Miya Yatsuba, who recently these two have faced off each other on occasion. But now let's see how their tag team would put to the test. Then we move on with Stardom's much recent event that took place with Midsummer Festival 2023. We had some interesting matches that took place involving this. This is going to be interesting, or we're going to be talking about it. And then finally, we have some AEW Collision. We had a very interesting match taking place. Darby Allin taking on Christian. What else is taking place? Of course, the Guns, the Guns and Juice Robinson take on the Iron Savages and all this other stuff. So we have plenty of stuff we're going to be talking about. And of course, we're going to keep our news updates a bit shorter with certain things that are taking place. And I think that's pretty much it what we're going to do for today. So let's get started with another episode of Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Welcome everybody to Deleted Wrestle Zone, all things that is pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Impact Wrestling, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I am your host, J Rod here. So, if you are new to the channel, welcome. Where we review a lot of reviews of pro wrestling from various promotions. If you like this channel, please subscribe to us. You'll be getting a lot of reviews almost daily, and of course, other videos will be thrown out. If you like this episode, please give us a like or give us a comment down below. So let's get the show started with ChocoPro. Now our opening our show starts with an opening by Mei Suruga, as always. Of course, her tag team partner and partner of crime, Balinaki. He is still in Mexico, but it's still no telling when he'll be back. But Mei Suruga did a pretty good job holding down the reins. But however, our very first match features Shin Suzuki teaming up with a veteran Coyote Yoneyama to take on Masahiro Takanashi and Emi Sakura, but in reality that's Antonio Honda wearing a blonde wig. Yeah. Basically, people try to pretend that that it's Emi Sakura. I don't know what Emi would think. I would say she'll bitch slap Honda if she ever seen him dressed like that again. But, however, the match was pretty good. I have to say it did show a lot of character. However, we know Honda has been known in the past as a big trickster to find ways to trick his victims, but luckily in this case it did not work. But there was a moment where, of course, Masahiro Takanashi misfired and apparently hit um, the fake Emi Sakura, but it did allow for Shin Suzuki to pick up a win. When he applied the Kaori Yano, when she applied a O'Connor roll to pick up the win. However, the wig comes off. Mei Suruga's like saying, "Who are you? Who are you?" So I thought it was very funny. So it was a pretty good match. So no, don't get me wrong. Now, our next match is a singles action. We have, of course, straight up coming from Gambari Pro, Manitatsu Nakamura taking on Shonchiru. Now, I'm not sure if there's been arrangements between, of course, Emi Sakura and Nakamura to be part of their show to help them adapt. If you guys know this or not, Nakamura is a young boy. Basically, he has been in training and all this and that. I thought it was pretty great that they have him there. But however, it was Shunshiro with the crucifix onto him. However, I don't know what Shin Suzuki was thinking. He accidentally thought it was Nakamura who won, but it was Shunshiro. So someone had to remind him, hey, Shunshiro won. Oh, so he messed up. So people would say if they were if you saw this up close, you probably would say you fucked up over and over. He probably would say that. Trust me, I know exactly how you guys would say. Now, Sayuri, who we haven't seen for quite some time, came by to say hi to everybody and also to do the bookends. People who support the show since day one. Thought it was a real nice touchy of her to be involved. Now, our final match, we have Mochi Natsumi and Miya Yatsuba teaming up for the first time. Recently, those two have been facing off each other one-on-one, one in the ChocoPro show and the other in the Gatomu show. But, however, this is a very interesting test for her. Of course, in this particular match, they're going to face against Mei Shiruga and Chiko Ishikawa. Now, Mei is the one who trained Miya Yatsuba. She knows exactly what she'll do. However, Miya has shown a bit more progress than the last time these two have come across each other. Now, it seems like Miya would have won this match, but however, this match ended when she picked up the win by pinning Miya Yatsuba. I mean, she was so close, but however, it ended with her winning the match. So she and Mei won the match. Now for our Junkin tournament, I didn't know what to expect, but I can give you the end of it. The Junkin tournament is won by Mei Shiruga when she beat Mochi Natsumi. So I thought that was great. So we do have another ChocoPro coming up for our following episode, but we'll get to that first some other time. So let's move on with Stardom. Okay, Stardom with their much recent show, Midsummer Festival 2023. This just took recently out. Just for the record, I haven't seen the New Blood show that just recently came out. Hopefully, I'll get to that when the day comes. But this one was just way too important for everybody uh, to review. So let's get started. Our opening match, we have a trios match. We have Yuna Mizumori, Waka Tsukiyama, and Lady C teaming up. Now, Waka and Yuna are known each other prior before they ever joined Stardom. But as for Lady C and Waka, they were tag team partners back in 2022, I believe, or 2020. No, make that 2021. They were known as Sea Moon. But however, the connection is pretty great. Even also, what was it, back in 2021 or so? It was Yuna who had a bit of a match with no, back in 2022. Yuna had faced off Lady C. So this is interesting that those three will be in a match. However, this is a match I know people that are opponents is something I think many would like to see happen on various occasions. It's the Hanan sisters. We got the twins, Rina and Hina, um, teaming up with their older sister Hanan. Now, some of you would say, aren't they all three from three different units? Yes, Rina is from Oedo Tai and she is the current future Stardom champion. Hina is currently with Queen's Quest, and Hanan is, of course, currently with Stars. Now, keep in mind, Hanan is a former future champion. Has the most consecutive defenses in that particular belt. Hina has yet to win that belt, but I'm sure it's only a matter of time until she wins it. But, however, I have to say it was very interesting to see the three sisters cooperate. However, I don't think Rina has any intentions to try to stick around. All she cares about is try to win. But it was in fact uh, Hanan with a crucifix onto Waka to pick up the win. However, Waka, spoiler alert for everybody, I was fully aware that, of course, Waka did not win um, the future Stardom belt in New Blood 10. But she seems like she is still aiming for that belt. But the problem is her time is almost up, knowing that her 3 years of experience will be expired soon. And I think many people will probably be disappointed. Now, our next match, we have Club Venus, Mariah May, and Mina Shirakawa taking on Megan Bayne and Tekla. Now, as you know, Mina and Mariah May have one thing in common. They don't like Tekla that much. Tekla always believes that she's far more better and she likes to insult Mina. However, in this case, Mariah May and Tekla have often been rivals to prove who is the actual future ace of the as a foreigner. And of course, they've been going back and forth on this. And of course, Mariah May was trying to convince Tekla to join. But however, they had the contempt with Mega Bane, who is strong and big. You don't want to tangle with them. Not even their usual sexiness didn't work on them. But however, it was Mariah May who picked up the win by pinning Tekla. Now here's the interesting part that goes around. Mariah May has pinned Tekla not once, but twice. One before she ever became an artist champion, and now one as an artist. So it appears that Mariah May told Mina, even though they lost the tag titles, then their aim is the artist belt. And of course, she visualized what color belts would have. She visualized Mina with the light blue belt, herself with the pink, and the orange with Waka. So that is commonly could happen. Now we haven't seen what's their name, DDM, the Body Body Bombers, Julia, Mai Sakurai, and Tekla defend those belts that often. We know the last challengers were the members of Stars in a steel cage match, but sooner or later something has to change. That they possibly Body Bombers have to drop those belts and go on to new. But we'll see what happens. As you know, Julia is currently on excursion for the Multiverse United, and she is already here in the States. So we'll be seeing her soon. Now, our next match, we have the very interesting duo between Zuzu Suzuki and Maika. Now, these two are not on the same page, but more like, okay, can they get along, due to the fact that recently Zuzu has criticized Maika for a recent loss in the generational struggle. But their opponents is a very interesting duo, which is, of course, Ami Sori and Saida. Now, it's not the first time that these two have teamed up. Last time they teamed up, it was during a showcase show where they take on My Him, which is Maika and Himeka. I think it was months ago or last year. I can't remember, but it was a pretty good match between them. Of course, both Sori and Ida were giving them chops, but in the end, it was, of course, the Michinoku Driver 2 by Maika onto Ida to pick up the win. Next up, we got a very interesting match. We have Star members Koguma and Mayu Iwatani taking on God's Eyes, Suri, and Saki Kashima. Now, what I find interesting is Mayu and Saki Kashima. Now, those who are Stardom fans, you know what I'm talking about. Those who don't, who are new to the channel and are just barely getting started to know who are these wrestlers are, let me give you guys a fresher course about this. Saki Kashima was a member of the unit Stars many years ago. She rejoined the group back in 2018 or 19, somewhere around there. I don't know. Until she was out for a 5-year hiatus. So anyway, no, 2018, yeah. So anyway, in early 2020, Saki Kashima stabbed Mayu Iwatani with a board, betraying her joining Oedo Tai. However, recently, Stardom has been doing this thing called the Dream Tags, where tag teams, where of course the fans vote which tag team they would like to see team up. However, amongst them is in fact Mayu Iwatani and Saki. Now, Mayu hasn't forgotten what Kashima has done to her, so Kashima is scared. She knows that Mayu would love to have nothing more than punch her in the face. But she has to get through her in this match. I know she's a bit afraid of her, since, you know, she is no longer with Oedo Tai, but Mayu never forgets the stabbing. But unfortunately, um, she got put in a submission by a standing dragon sleeper by Mayu, and she had no other choice but to tap. But the obvious question does tell, moving forward, how would these two get along in Dream Tag? That's going to be the much interesting question to see. Now, our next match, we have a very interesting 8-woman tag match. Team number 1, we have the members of Queen's Quest, Miyu Imasaki, Azumi, and Utami Ashida. They team up with the founder of Diana, Kyoko Inoue. They take on members of Odo Tai, consisting of Ruka and Natsuko Tora. They team up with wrestlers names of Joshi veterans named Zap and Da Matsumoto. Now, the match started with an initial attack once their introduction was done. Natsuko Tora went after Utami. As you know, this whole thing with her is not done. But of course, Dump Matsumoto continues to attack Umasaki, whacking her with the kendo stick. That kind of went into that direction. However, at the end, of course, it was a how do I say? It did Dump, and of course Natsuko Tora did a double mist on her face, allowing for Natsuko Tora to apply the Death Valley Driver to win the match. So basically, she got away with that. Now our next match, we have this one was a much interesting one for me, not because this team is my favorite, but more of a very interesting dilemma. We have the Cosmic Angels, all three of them, Saru Noi, Natsupo, and Tam Nakano taking on Azuki, and along with two veterans, uh, Takako Inoue and Shinobu Kandori. Now, recently during a press conference, Kandori had some negative remarks towards Stardom. Now, keep in mind, Kandori is a veteran Yoshi wrestler. She comes from an era where, of course, Stardom at the time was never existed. So she's starting to question, is Stardom that promotion that many people have talked about? But of course, Tam Nakano has always been loyal to the promotion, to Stardom, always defended it, but she will not allow these remarks to have her dictate. So that's always been the case. But this match was more, how do I say, the veterans versus the 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 newest the next generation of guard of the Yoshi wrestling scene. However, in the end, it was Natsupoi with the fairy strain onto Hazuki to pick up the win. But however, Tam did issue a challenge for against Kandori. However, it's still unclear whether it's going to be for the red belt or just a straight up match. Well, we don't know. So we'll see what happens. Now our main event features a very interesting dynamic. So we have Yu teaming up with Black Desire of Oedo Tai, Starlight Kid, and Momo Watanabe to take on Nana Momo, consisting of Nanane Takahashi, Momo Nakanashi, and of course veteran Jaguar Yokuda. Now, Starlight Kid hasn't forgotten the humiliation she suffered against Nanane Takahashi during the passion injection. She will love nothing more to put her in her old place. I mean, this was a pretty tough match, in my opinion. You probably would have thought there was no way that, you know, what's their name? That the veterans were going to win. Fortunately, yes. It was Nanane with Nanane and Momo with a Nana Momo driver on Starlight Kid to pick up the win. So that says it all right there. But you can tell the Starlight Kid with this thing is not even over just yet. So I think that's pretty much it right now, what we have for Stardom. Let's move on with AEW Collision. Okay, our final review, AEW Collision. Now, it started out with Samoa Joe, who was supposed to take on a jobber, or enhancement as they called it, named Golden Vampire, but it turned out it wasn't exactly what happened. Golden Vampire initially attacked, but apparently some moves that we've seen before that were conducted by CM Punk appeared. It turned out that it was, of course, CM Punk underneath the mask. He did apply the GTS on him, but he did accept the offer that he wants to challenge him at Wembley Stadium for All In next week. So, looks like he gave him the answer. But of course, Samoa Joe will not forget the humiliation he suffered towards CM Punk. Now, our next match, we have Jay White versus Dalton Castle. You probably would have thought this match was going to be in Jay White's favor. Yes, it did. However, the boys did try everything in their power to help him due to the fact that the other members of the Bullet Club Gold, the Ass Boys, and Juice were going to get involved, which they did. But however, it was, of course, the Blade Runner by Jay White to pick up the win. However, they wanted to give them answers. Why did they attack Kenny Omega? Jay White believes that there's no way Kenny Omega is going to make it to All Out In after the beating he suffered in Jacksonville. But however, that's how it is. Even Juice Robinson believed that. However, the Ass Boys are not done with the Bucks. They right now want to prove once and for all that they are the true tag team brothers. So we'll see what happens. Now, speaking of that, we did see the members of the Bullet Club Gold get in the ring to take on the Iron Savages, Boulder and Broser, along with Jack Jackson. One thing that was funny is, of course, Bronson goes like, "You may call me Esquire, but I'm gonna." But the one thing was so funny is the reaction from Nigel McGuinness. He said this when after what Bronson said, he's like, "Excuse me, I didn't." He said it, I didn't. So I thought it was funny that he had no clue what they're talking about. But however, in the end, it was, of course, a DDT on Jack Jackson by Juice Robinson to pick up the win. So now they're sending a clear message to the Elite because they believe that they are an offshoot of the Bullet Club. But they used to be members of the Bullet Club. Now, the House of Blacks has sent a very interesting video package message to the Acclaim. They decided to toss Billy Gunn's boots in the trash can, which is very disgusting out of them. I wouldn't be surprised if the Acclaim will get their payback against them sooner or later, but we'll see what happens until then. Now, Ricky Starks, as you know, he is currently serving his suspension. Apparently, he decided to serve manager for Big Bill, which he did. However, Big Bill ended up in a match against Derek Neal, an enhancement. But this match ended with a choke slam, just like that. But however, this thing with Ricky Stark is not done. He decided to attack Ricky Neal with the belt to send a direct message to everyone that he is not going to be tolerating what just taking place for him. Now, Darby Allin and Sting has sent out a straight up message to Swerve, but not to mention recently, as I mentioned in a news update, Darby and Sting invaded the wrestling school of AR Fox. However, this is only payback for what they did to Nick Wayne at his father's wrestling school, but Nick Wayne hasn't forgotten either. So he will be facing AR Fox in order to send a message to what they did. But we'll see what happens until then. Now we got the ladies in action. Will Nightingale taking on Diamante. Now these two ladies have met each other already. Diamante was siding with Mercedes Martinez in order to take out Chris Statlander and all that, but Will Nightingale can't save the day. And the tag match happened. Apparently, they got away with it. But this time, it's a one-on-one. But however, Mercedes Martinez was there. Luckily, Chris Statlander saved the day. And then, of course, it ended with, Will Nightingale with the Dr. Bomb onto Diamante to pick up the win. Now, once again, Toni Storm during interviews, she's starting to lose her mind after losing the AEW Women's World Title. So we'll see how things will go with her. Now, Powerhouse Hobbs comes out. He takes on Kevin Koo. You would think this is a squash match, which it did. It went into a spine buster. But however, Hobbs decided to call out Miro. But Miro comes out telling him that he walks alone. He feels that he was betrayed by God. But he feels like him and Hobbs are a lot alike. So we'll see what happens until then. Now our main event is Darby Allin versus Christian Cage. Now Christian Cage has been criticizing Darby because he is going to be facing for the TNT title. He feels that he's unworthy due to his distractions towards Fox and Swerve. However, that hasn't stopped him just yet. You probably would have guessed that Christian would have done everything in their power to break him, but it did not until Darby applied a jackknife to pick up the win. But unfortunately, that dinosaur, Luchasaurus, showed up and decided to decimate him. Even Swerve and Fox were watching this from a distance, happy to see what has transpired. But I'm sure they're not going to be happy what's going to happen next after that. I think that's pretty much it right now with AEW Collision. Let's move on with some news updates. So welcome to our news updates. So this is what we have. More info coming in about Kitsune Women's Wrestling. This show will be launching on October 22nd. The name of the show is called Gong. They just announced for their final entrant in their show, for their final talent they're going to book. That is none other than Jordan Blade. However, because Jordan Blade's name was announced, the previous person they announced, Sandra Moon, will be her opponent on that particular day. Now, before anything else, some of you may question, J-Rod, how can we watch this? Well, apparently it was revealed that by Yoshi, the Yoshi Pod, a local podcast here in my hometown of San Diego, announced that Independent Wrestling Television will be distributing that. So I don't know. I'm sure they haven't posted it up yet on their website or app, however you want to see it. But I'm looking forward to it. So if you're interested, go check them out. Now, House of Glory has announced for their upcoming show Fallout on the 15th of September. Hijo de Vikingo will be making his return. I'm sure everybody's going to be excited for that. Deathmatch wrestler Drew Parker has announced that he's going to be retiring. This is a very interesting thing. We know he broke down barriers as a deathmatch wrestler, facing against guys like Jun Kasai, many others. But it's kind of sad. But hopefully, whatever he does in his future projects, we'll be happy for him. Now, our final update is, of course, for the New Japan Royal Quest in London. Hiroshi Tanahashi will be making his appearance. So I can't wait to see what the Ace is going to do. So I think that's pretty much it. So let's just call it a day. Well, I hope everybody enjoys this episode. Coming up, we have the newest episode for Unagi Sayaka. We're going to be doing reviews of her matches from Marvelous, Gleed, and various other locations. Some upcoming matches that we're going to be talking about, and of course, some of her activities that you may see. So we'll be able to put that. So I think that's pretty much it what we have. So as for now, I will see you guys in the next DWZ time. Same DWZ channel. I must bid all of you adieu. So, goodbye. And have a nice day. Bang.